I am excited to share with you a little bit about an elective at North called Infections and Inequalities. So, this elective is typically um, taken by 11th and 12th graders. However, if you are a freshman that has taken AP Bio, you are eligible to take this as a 10th grader in addition to the chemistry course that you would already be taking. You'd have to double up. So, the idea for this course actually came from the book that you can see on the screen. It's a book that I read a while ago, and it's called Infections and Inequalities. And it talks about different things that make us sick, but then it also addresses why, even though we know a lot about those things, it continues to be. They continue to be sort of plagues that exist in our world. So the idea is if we know so much about it, why are they still happening? And that sort of lends itself to a little bit of understanding of public health. And so, really, when we look at this course, the first semester is more of the infections aspect of the class. And it's really designed around an understanding of microbiology. We look at what things actually make us sick. And so we talk about bacteria. And here's a beautiful little slide of all kinds of different bacteria. Bacteria is good, bacteria is also harmful, and it can make us sick. So we have a bacterial unit. And then we also talk about viruses. And so you see maybe some viruses here. Last year, we were in the middle of discussing a couple of different viruses when this thing called COVID popped up. And so that led itself to um, having some really authentic conversation about the coronavirus or the novel coronavirus. We have a unit on something called prions, which you may or may not have heard of. I'm doubting that you have because it is so unknown, but it's an infectious protein that really can degrade your brain tissue. We learn about fungal infections. We learn about worm-based infections. And we also learn about protozoal infections, things like malaria. I'm betting that many of you have heard of malaria. So, first semester is really about what are the things that make us sick. And we do a lot of lab-based assignments in first semester. We culture bacteria, we run antibiotic resistant labs, we do a lot of stuff that is really connected to microbiology as a course in college. Then, second semester, we look at the inequalities aspect of it. And this, again, like I said, sort of lends itself a little bit more towards public health. So, what are these modern day plagues that really we seem to know a lot about, but we can't really get out in front of? And so, a couple of these plagues that we'll talk about are HIV, which is, of course, the virus that causes AIDS. We know a ton about that virus. We know a ton about the transmission of that disease, yet it still continues to be a significant player in our world. Cholera is another condition that we actually know a lot about. We know how to treat it, we know how to prevent it, but yet it still exists. And there are reasons that it still exists in pockets of our world. And then tuberculosis is another one that is a little bit lesser known, but there is a pretty decent sized population of our world that really struggles with multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. And it can be pretty lethal. Again, something that we know about, we know how it spreads, we know how to treat it even, but it continues to plague us. And so second semester, we take it more of a case study approach, and we look at these different plagues, and we look at not only what is that particular disease or condition, but why does it exist? What are the factors that are perpetuating it? And that lends itself to letting us sort of look at where it exists in the world and what else might be going on in those pockets that are perpetuating the spread of these diseases. Who might enjoy this class? So, if you think that you might be interested in the healthcare field at some point, whether that is as a physician, as a nurse, you would enjoy the content of this class. The pathology component, the disease spread component of this class, plus the understanding of microorganisms is going to be helpful, beneficial to you, but also probably interesting to you. If you are a student that would like to get more lab based experience, this course would be really great for you. The first semester, like I said, we spend a lot of time doing microbiology based, microorganism based labs. And so you get real hands on experience in cultivating, culturing your own bacteria, in testing various things on your bacteria. There's a large lab component to the first semester. So if you're interested in collecting more hands-on lab skill, you think you want to go into a science career, or it just interests you, you want that hands-on experience, this class would be great for you. And if you're just curious about some of the things that I've talked about, if anything I've said has piqued your interest and you're just a curious learner, this class could be right for you. If you have questions, I would love to talk with you more about this course. I'm in room 602. And so if you have the opportunity to drop by, I would love to answer any questions that you might have and just kind of talk more with you about it.